Rod Stewart finally speaks up about Ronnie Wood. Rod Stewart was born Roderick David Stewart on January 10, 1945 in Highgate, London. Emerging from humble beginnings in post-war England, Stewart's journey from a working-class family to global superstardom is a story of talent, perseverance, and sheer determination. As the eldest of 5 children, he grew up in a close-knit family where music was always present, and it was this early environment that nurtured his innate passion for performing. Despite the challenges of his early life, Stewart discovered his voice and his unmistakable style at a young age, setting the foundation for a career that would span over 6 decades. Stewart's musical journey began in earnest in the early 1960s when he joined various British bands, honing his craft as a vocalist. One of his earliest breakthroughs came with the Jeff Beck Group, where his raspy, soulful voice instantly captured attention. The combination of Stewart's raw vocal power and the group's hard-edged rock sound was revolutionary at the time, blending rock, blues, and soul into a distinctive style. His later work with the Faces further cemented his status as a charismatic and versatile performer, displaying not just vocal prowess, but also a magnetic stage presence that drew audiences in. The Faces became known for their energetic performances, wit, and chemistry, helping Stewart develop the confidence and artistry that would define his solo career. Rod Stewart's solo career truly took off in the late 1960s and early 1970s, showcasing his ability to traverse genres with remarkable ease. With hits like Maggie May and You Wear It Well, Stewart demonstrated a gift for storytelling in his music, combining heartfelt lyrics with infectious melodies. His songs resonated with millions, capturing universal themes of love, heartache, and personal growth. Over the years, Stewart continued to evolve musically, exploring rock, pop, R&B, and even traditional standards. He has released dozens of studio albums, selling more than 120 million records worldwide, a testament to his enduring popularity and broad appeal. Hits like Maggie May, Do You Think I'm C, Sailing, and Forever Young have become timeless classics celebrated across generations for their catchy melodies, heartfelt lyrics, and Stewart's unmistakable vocal style. One of Stewart's greatest strengths is his versatility. He has effortlessly navigated a wide range of genres, including rock, pop, folk, disco, and soul, constantly reinventing himself while maintaining a consistent artistic identity. Rod Stewart's musical journey is a treasure trove of versatility and timeless charm, reflected in a string of remarkable albums that showcase both his pop-rock edge and his innate ability to interpret heartfelt ballads. In the mid to late 1990s, he released a series of standout records, each offering a unique glimpse into his evolving artistry. A Spanner in the Works, 1995, highlighted his signature raspy voice and knack for blending rock with pop sensibilities, while If We Fall in Love Tonight, 1996, brought fans a collection of romantic ballads and reflective classics that reaffirmed his place as one of the premier voices in contemporary love songs. Continuing his creative exploration, When We Were the New Boys, 1998, captured a sense of youthful energy and modern reinterpretation, featuring a mix of covers and original material that kept his sound fresh and relevant. Then came The Story So Far, the very best of Rod Stewart, 2001, a carefully curated anthology that celebrated decades of hits and fan favorites, allowing listeners, both old and new, to experience the breadth and depth of Stewart's extraordinary career. Beyond his original works, Stewart captivated audiences worldwide with his ambitious and celebrated Great American Songbook series, a bold project that paid homage to the golden era of American music. Over 4 volumes, he breathed new life into the timeless classics of the 1930s and 1940s. It Had to Be You, 2002, was the first installment introducing listeners to Stewart's soulful interpretations of beloved standards, followed by As Time Goes By, 2003, which offered intimate, beautifully arranged renditions of song steeped in nostalgia. The series continued with Stardust, 2004, where his emotive delivery and respect for the original melodies shone brightly, and culminated with Thanks for the Memory, 2005, a heartfelt tribute to the enduring magic of the American Songbook. With these albums, Stewart not only showcased his remarkable vocal versatility, but also bridged generations, connecting contemporary audiences with the timeless elegance of classic American music. Each record became a testament to his enduring artistry, proving that his voice could both rock stadiums and caress the softest ballads with equal brilliance. Rod Stewart's achievements have been recognized with numerous awards and honors, from Grammy nominations to inductions into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Both as a solo artist and with the Faces, his career reflects not only popularity, but also critical acclaim. Beyond accolades, Stewart has used his platform to support charitable causes and engage with fans around the world, demonstrating generosity and a deep appreciation for the people who have supported him throughout his journey. Rod Stewart's marital history reads almost like a series of distinct chapters in his life story, each one marking a different era in both his personal journey and his rise as a global music icon. His first marriage was to Alana Collins, a model and actress whose glamorous presence seemed perfectly matched with Rod's own rising star power in the late 1970s. The two were married in 1979 at a time when Rod was already celebrated for his gritty voice and his charming, rebellious persona. Their union quickly became a favorite subject of entertainment media, partly because of their magnetic chemistry and partly because they looked like the classic Hollywood power couple, her California sunshine appeal balancing his edgy British charisma. Even though their relationship produced 2 children and brought moments of joy, the pressure of fame, constant travel, and the whirlwind lifestyle surrounding both of them eventually led to cracks in the marriage. After 5 years together, they finalized their divorce in 1984, a split that was highly publicized and emotionally challenging for both Rod and Alana. Despite the end of their marriage, their shared years had a major impact on Rod's emotional life, inspiring some of his reflective work in later years. Rod stepped into his second marriage with Rachel Hunter in 1990, and this relationship marked a very different phase for him. Rachel, a New Zealand supermodel almost 25 years his junior, brought a new kind of energy into his world, youthful, fresh, and full of international glamour. Their wedding drew global attention, not only because of Rod's fame, but also because their age difference became a talking point everywhere from tabloids to TV shows. Yet the pair maintained that their love was genuine, and for a long time, they seemed to embody the ultimate celebrity couple of the 1990s. They had 2 children together and shared a life filled with high-profile events, modeling campaigns, and the type of public visibility that made them fashion and entertainment icons. But even with the sparkle, the marriage wasn't immune to strain. By the early 2000s, Rachel and Rod had quietly begun drifting apart, and although they separated for several years before the paperwork went through, their divorce was officially completed in 2006. Rod has spoken openly about how deeply this breakup affected him, at one point even saying he thought Rachel was the one, and the years that followed became a period of introspection that helped reshape how he approached love and family. Then came his third marriage, this time to Penny Lancaster, a former model and photographer who entered Rod's life with a calming, grounded, and deeply supportive presence. They married in 2007, marking the beginning of a chapter filled with stability, partnership, and mutual respect. Penny, who had already been in Rod's life since the late 1990s, wasn't just a romantic partner, she became his emotional anchor. Their relationship seemed to grow out of genuine friendship and shared values, something Rod himself has highlighted many times. With Penny, Rod embraced a more settled lifestyle, family-focused, mature, and far less chaotic than the fast-paced world he had lived in during his earlier marriages. They welcomed 2 children together, and over the years, Penny has become an essential part of Rod's public image, not just as his wife, but as a woman whose warmth, confidence, and presence complement him beautifully. Their marriage has endured far longer than his previous 2, and Rod often credits Penny with helping him evolve into a better partner, father, and man as he moved into later stages of his life and career. For decades, fans have sensed that behind the glittery veneer of rock and roll camaraderie, there was a deeper, more complicated story between Rod Stewart and his longtime friend and fellow Faces bandmate, Ronnie Wood. Now at the milestone age of 80, Rod Stewart has finally begun opening up about that relationship with a surprising mix of affection, honesty, and the wry humor that has defined his public persona. Looking back on nearly 6 decades of friendship, rivalry, chaos, and mutual admiration, Rod pulls back the curtain on a bond that has shaped some of the most iconic moments in British rock. "Ronnie's always been like a cheeky little brother to me," Rod begins, and in that one line, he captures the chaotic heart of their dynamic. Stewart describes how Wood, even in the early days of the Faces, had a way of showing up in his life like a whirlwind, unpredictable, mischievous, and endlessly enthusiastic. He'd walk into the room grinning, guitar in hand, ready to start trouble, and somehow you always knew you were about to have a great time or end up paying for something expensive. Rod laughs when he says this, but there's a warmth in the way he remembers the younger man's unstoppable energy. Stewart also reflects on the creative sparks and sometimes fires that define their musical partnership. "Ronnie and I didn't always agree on how a song should sound. He'd push me, I'd push back, and then we'd somehow meet in the middle with something magical. That was Ronnie's gift. He could turn tension into music." Rod explains that Wood had a way of cutting through the noise and tapping into the raw, emotional core of a track. "Even when we fought, even when the studio was thick with cigarette smoke and ego, there was an undeniable sense of shared purpose. He kept me honest," Rod says. "And trust me, in those years I needed someone to do that." But Stewart doesn't shy away from the darker moments either. He speaks candidly about the years when addiction, fame, and outside pressures strained their relationship. "There were times when I didn't know if Ronnie would make it to the next show," he admits. "We were all wild, but Ronnie lived on a razor's edge for a long time." Rod talks about watching his friends struggle while feeling both helpless and frustrated, unsure whether to intervene or step back. "Sometimes I had to walk away and hope he'd find his way, and somehow he always did, but it was bloody hard to watch." Still, the thread running through Stewart's reflections is one of loyalty. "No matter how long we'd go without talking, months, even years, the second we were in the same room, it was like no time had passed." He describes the natural rhythm they shared, the jokes, the teasing, the way Wood could make him laugh harder than almost anyone else. "Ronnie's got this thing about him. You can't stay mad at him. You try, believe me, but it never works." Their friendship took on a new dimension when Wood joined the Rolling Stones. Many wondered if Stewart felt overshadowed or left behind as Ronnie stepped into one of the most legendary rock bands in history. Rod addresses this with refreshing honesty. "Was I jealous? Of course I was. Who wouldn't be? But I was proud too. Ronnie deserved that stage. He'd worked his ass off for it, and he belonged there." He adds that their careers diverging only strengthened their mutual respect. "He wasn't just my mate from the Faces anymore. He became Ronnie Wood, rock legend, and I love seeing that." Today, as both men slow down slightly, though neither shows signs of stopping completely, Stewart sees their bond with even more clarity. "We grew up together in a way. We went through things most people can't imagine, and we survived it. That's something rare." He pauses, then adds with a grin, "And now we're a couple of old geezers who still talk rubbish and crack each other up. Some things never change." In the end, Rod Stewart's late-in-life reflections on Ronnie Wood paint a portrait of two men bound not just by music, but by the shared experience of surviving the beautiful madness of rock and roll. Their story is one of brotherhood, friction, forgiveness, and deep affection, the sort of connection that can only be forged by years lived loudly, dangerously, and side by side. And as Rod puts it, Ronnie's family always has been, always will be,